Here is the story time of how I almost ruined a famous actor's dinner. I used to work at this super nice fine dining restaurant in Chicago. Super bougie. I had no experience. That's not the point of the fucking story. Friday night, I'm in there working my ass off. What's new? And this guy walks in, and it was like the era where we all had to wear masks. That's not an era. It was the fucking pandemic. So I'm wearing a mask, and this man's wearing a mask, but he walks in and he looks directly at me. So immediately, I'm like, that's my fucking ex. My natural response to him looking right at me was to go, oh my God, like that's so fucking annoying. And this isn't one of those exes like where we had a long-term relationship. This is like one of my situationships and it like failed or whatever. But we're still kind of like soulmates, you know? But like I looked this man in the eyes, roll my fucking eye. I worked with all my best friends at the time too. So I'm like, you guys, like my fucking ex is here. Like I'm causing a scene. I just hadn't seen him in 2 years and I was like, oh my God, like I literally cannot believe my ex is here. And there's a couple thoughts running through my mind. I'm like, first of all, when the fuck did he get money? Cause he was always a little bit like broke when we were broke together, but like he was really broke. So I'm like, when the fuck did this man get money? My second thought was like, does he know I work? Like, did he come to see me? Because we're kind of soulmates a little bit. All my best friends are like, Livy, are you sure that's him? Like you didn't even see him without a mask on. And I'm like, no, he was wearing this hat. A little backstory on this hat. It's like a Carhartt hat or whatever. But like when we were like kind of talking, he would always wear a Carhartt hat. So one day my friend was wearing a Carhartt hat and it was just like a different color than one that he would wear. And I sent him a photo being like, did you leave this at my place just to really fuck with him? Just because I wanted to be super fucking toxic. And he's like, nope, not my hat. And I'm like, whatever. I was like mentally ill back then. Like I still am, but like not as severe. And I'm like, he has these gorgeous blue eyes. And those were like the first thing that I saw when this man walked in. And I'm saying to my best friends, I'm like, I got a tingle in my body, like my pussy throbbing kind of thing. Like I know my ex, when I see him, like I get a tingle. Like I'm a spiritual ass bitch. I know that's him. It's my soulmate. The issue was I worked in the bar section of the restaurant and he was in like the dining room, which like I was very clearly like not allowed in there. They're like, Livy, stay in the fucking bar area and serve the bar people. Like you are not allowed in the fine dining room, right? So I'm like, fuck, I gotta make an excuse to get into the dining room so I can just like confirm that that is my ex and I can have a full mental breakdown with it being valid. Go to part 2. I'm like, I need to get my ass in that dining room to confirm that's my ex. I act like we have no silverware on my side and I'm like running across like, I gotta go get silverware. I would never do that normally. They're like, what the fuck? Why is Livy working hard today? I'm getting silverware and I'm walking by his table being like, just trying to see if it's him. Dropped a fork right in front of his table because I was like, it has to be him. I need to make eye contact one more time. Like I dropped the fork in the wrong fucking direction. I don't know what I was doing. So I make eye contact and I'm like, oh my God, he's fucking gorgeous. I'm like, I don't remember man being this fucking gorgeous. I'm like, it's been 2 years. Like, who knows? That's a lot of time. Like maybe he got work done. I don't fucking know. He's gorgeous now. He was always very good looking, but he was like stunning. I was like, oh my God, was he throbbing? During this time, I'm supposed to be fucking working. Like I have espresso martinis with my name on, like at them at the bar. Like these drinks need to be ran and I'm just like frolicking around the dining room. All the other servers are like, why is she in here? I'm like, fuck off. It's my ex-boyfriend I need to see. I'm like to my friends, I'm like, yeah, I think that's my ex, but he's like weirdly gorgeous now. Like he's so fucking gorgeous. So then I'm like in my head, like, is he my soulmate? Like, cause he showed up here. Like, you know, I'm like, it's divine timing. You know, I'm like all on this spiritual bullshit. So I'm like moping around for a little while. Like my tables are like, where's my Wagyu? I'm like, I don't fucking know. Like, I don't care. My ex is in the dining room. Can't you fucking see I'm distraught? And my manager comes up to me and she's like, oh my God, did you see who's at like 220? Like my ex's table. I'm like, yeah, like I did see, like, why are you rubbing it in? But then I'm like, wait, she doesn't know who the fuck my ex is. So I'm like, wait, what do you mean? Who's at 220? That's the guy from like House of Lies or like whatever, like some huge show. And I'm like, wait, no fucking way. That's my ex-boyfriend. And she's like, what? And I'm like, wait, pull up a picture of him. She's like, it's this guy. And I'm like, oh, holy fuck. I'm like, oh my God, that's this famous fucking actor. And then it hits me. I'm like, Livy, that's not your ex-boyfriend. The reason he looks so familiar to you is because he's a famous fucking actor. To be fair, they do look very much alike. I'm like, but wait, that's so fucking embarrassing because I made a scene at this man's table several fucking times. Like, remember when I dropped the fork and shit? He probably thought I was a mega fan and I thought he was my ex-fucking boyfriend. Poor actor too. Like, he's coming in, I'm rolling my fucking eyes. He's probably like, the service here is horrible. So I tell my friends, I'm like, guys, actually, that's not my ex-boyfriend. I guess I'm just like extra fucking delusional. I'm like, that is a famous actor. Like the guy from like whatever the fuck it is. Like, Livy, how'd you mix that up? I'm like, I don't know. It's been a long fucking night. I was like, I know that's him, but like I knew him from somewhere, you know what I mean? But like, why did I convince myself it was like my ex situationship? Story of how I almost ruined a famous actor's dinner.
He won't leave. It all started about a month ago when a man started banging on my door at 6 at night, yelling for Mike to come out, that he needs to see him and get cigarettes. I told him he had the wrong house and to leave. There has never been a Mike in the house. He got even more aggressive, calling me a liar. Now he was going to come in and beat that skinny bitch you live with. I tried to call the non-emergency police line because I've never called 911 before, and they didn't pick up. Looking back, it was stupid, but it was instinct. After some more yelling, he leaves. I called my father, who was across town, to come home and what was going on, and he showed up. He called 911 to file a police report. The guy came back and started screaming at him. Cops were called again, showing up an hour after the call, and couldn't find him and told me to defend myself if it came to it. I ended up staying with a friend for the night because I didn't feel safe at home. I can be a strong person, but I don't think I can do much against a drugged out man. What made that situation even scarier to me is that I was going through my driveway camera photos. It shows him walking up to my house hours before, and I had no clue. I have really bad anxiety, so the next few days were filled with paranoia and stress. But I managed to finally calm down and convince myself that that was the end of it. Come that weekend, my father went on a trip with his girlfriend, so I was left alone for a couple of days. I just put on a scary movie when I heard screaming again and a loud bang. I pull up my camera and see that he is back, pacing back and forth on the sidewalk, and has thrown over our trash can, again screaming for Mike. I call 911 and they show up within minutes this time and are able to stop him down the street. They tell me there's nothing that can be done since he hasn't committed a crime yet, but if he does come back, to call again and then they'll have more of a reason to hold him. Things were quiet for a few weeks. I can't believe that was the end of it, until today. This morning my father and I got in an argument, so I wanted to take a walk to clear my mind. I went across the street to a park and sat by a tree watching cars pass every now and then. Just beautiful morning weather. I noticed a truck drive down the left side of the park and turn to the street my back is facing. He waved as he passed, so I did too, thinking it was just a man going to work. I wanted to show I was okay. He then pulls off onto the right side of the park, stops, makes a U-turn to come back. Red flags instantly go off in my head, so I get up to start walking home. I look back and see he's turned off his headlights and is trailing me. I get to the front of my house and he slows. I get a better look at his face this time, and it looks like the man harassing me. From the physical characteristics to his red baseball cap, he just glared at me like I took everything in his life away from him. I get to the door and try to barge in, but my father put the chain on in anger of me walking out, so I had to yell to him that I was being followed and to open the door. He opens it, and by then, the truck was gone down the street. I'm terrified to leave my home, but I don't have a car to get anywhere quickly. I have to bike, but even now, I'm scared to do that. I don't know who that man is or what his intentions were, but I live in paranoia, waiting.
I'm an asshole for wanting to rehome our 3 cats that my wife is attached to. My wife and I have been together for 3 years and married for 1. Prior to us being together, she was very anti-pets, literally had 0 interest. I've always wanted a cat and we talked about it, and we ended up getting one. She turned out to be very skittish, so we got her a sibling to maybe help. Neither of them are super cuddly, so we wanted to add a calico cat. All these were joint decisions. My wife feeds them, I do the litter box, we give them water, meds, and literally do it all. We bought a house and I do most of the cleaning. I felt very disconnected with the cat since we moved because I have to clean constantly and stay on top of them. Cleaning up sheds of hair, food mess, litter, everything. And they've been randomly throwing up on rugs. We've destroyed our couch, and my wife frets about the cats being sad when we go out of town, even when my sister watches them. All in all, I'm over it and I just want to rehome them responsibly. I mentioned it before and it was met with sadness and resentment. Her getting attached and now me wanting them gone. She felt like I was being flaky and I said I struggled with the commitment. That if my wife helps out more, we could keep them. I haven't seen that happen, so I'm the asshole. I'm the asshole for dropping my daughter off at daycare early so her teacher could do her hair. I'm a newly divorced dad of a 3-year-old girl and I have her every other week. My daughter has very curly hair that my ex-wife used to take care of. But on my weeks, her hair is mostly frizzy and a tangled mess, and I'm still having to figure it out. A teacher at my daughter's daycare has very similar hair to my daughter, so I asked if she could help me with my daughter's hair. She said she could do my daughter's hair in the mornings if I dropped her off earlier, and that's just about around 8:20. She gave me a list of curly hair products to buy and what to bring to school. She also gave me tips for washing and caring for it at home. I guess my daughter told my ex that her teacher does her hair and not me, and that she goes to daycare early now. And now because of this, my ex has asked me if I really drop her off half an hour early every morning just so I could avoid doing
doing her hair. She called me a bad parent for relying on a teacher to do my job, and for messing up the morning routine so we could get to school early enough. I thought I was doing right by her to make sure that her hair is cared for on my week, but my ex feels very strongly about this, and I want to know if I'm the asshole here. I am learning how to do her hair. My ex is not willing to help me learn either. So am I the a-hole here?